My mind is set, my grind is set, my heart on ice is cold. I'm only here to even a score. Whoa. My mind is set, my grind is set, my heart on ice is cold. We down right now, but did it before. Whoa. See from here we going up. Made the call, I shown up. Now the game is sewn up. Say my name is blown up. We up, 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 we up. See from here we going up. Made the call, I shown up. Now the game is sewn up. Say my name is blown up. We up, 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 we up.
What up, Night Nation? It's another week in the kingdom. It's your boy Roger hitting you up. It is episode number 102 this week, and we're excited because we're going to be talking UCF versus UNC football, and we've got some of our Tar Heel bros from the Big 12 Huddle that'll be helping us do that this week. As a reminder, we're the only podcast that features a former UCF national champion, a former UCF radio host, an ESPN analyst, and hoops player, an infamous rapper, our resident influencer and IG star shooting the breeze, talking UCF sports. Remember to like and follow us on IG, YouTube, and check out the 70-plus teams and conferences on the College Huddle. The Big 12 Huddle, 4th in Florida, and our new stream coming your way. So super excited this week. Like I said, we're starting our series where we're going to have opposing fan bases each week come and join us and help us preview this week's upcoming game. Obviously, UNC is a big one. We've got K-State lined up for the following week, thanks to the Big 12 Huddle. And we're super excited to talk about all of those things. So after we get done talking with the Heel Brothers, we'll do our own preview as well, sprinkle in some additional pieces of information from that. We're going to do our score predictions for this week. We've got some other UCF news. Obviously, we want to talk about Sean Clark. Prayers up to his family. So we'll give you a little bit more detail on that. The new game times have been released. We'll get your listener love section going, and then Alan will give us his stats of the week. So without further ado, let me bring on the crew. We're without Nobra this week, so Alan's going to have to give us the hair flip. Alan Levin, welcome back to the show. Let's see that hair flip. There it is. All right. Not quite as good as Nobra, but I'll take it. I'm glad to have you back this week, man.
Glad to be back. What's going on?
Oh, man, I'm excited. It's UNC week. Next to the stage, we have someone you all should know and do know, a man wearing an Atlanta Falcons hat to a UCF broadcast. I don't know what's going on with this.
What's up, Alan? Get this guy right, man. What's he talking
about? Florida Marlins.
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
Come on, I got to mess with y'all South Florida people.
That's an OG Marlins hat right there.
OG, man.
It looks like I'm looking at you on a very small screen. It looks like an Atlanta hat when you're kind of faded out there. But welcome back.
Marlins logo is the best logo.
I'm telling you. Throwback.
Give me that big C for Cincinnati. All right. Next to the stage, last but not least, but always last, Josh Lazar. And he is buffering. So we're going to drop him off till he gets back to the stage. So let's go ahead and welcome our guests because he just dropped off. Two gentlemen from the Big 12 Huddle that we've come to know. So these guys cover the North Carolina athletics for the Big 12 Huddle. So we're excited to have them join us to the stage for the first time. We'll start with the other Alan. What's up, Alan?
Alan. What's up, Alan? Alan.
What's going on?
Alan, Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, exactly.
Excited to have you to the stage. Thank you for joining us this week. And I'll be joining you this week as well on your podcast to preview the game. And then your heel brother, an actual brother, I believe. I'm not sure. Nathan, welcome back to the stage.
I'm the other half.
The other half of the Heel Brothers. Well, you guys kind of look alike, but one of you's younger. I don't know which one it is, so I'm not going to put it out there.
Hey, Nathan
we get up. I'll see y'all.
But welcome to the show. I've actually been to campus. I've been actually in the stadium. One of the cool things I did was I did kind of a college tour when I was moving back down from Maryland to Florida. So I had this big U-Haul truck, and I traveled to all the different colleges. I went to Wake, I went to Duke, I went to UNC. I know that's a bad word for you guys, but I'm going to say it anyway because I went there. Georgia Tech, Auburn, a bunch of different places. And so when I went to UNC, there was a couple of things that struck me. One, on campus itself, there's like this modern kind of architecture going on. I saw the bell tower. Then you've got like the older type brick style, more traditional type stuff. I got to go into the facilities. I wasn't allowed in the facilities. They were unlocked. So I walked around. So I went into the stadium. I went down on the field. I was that guy. So it was interesting for me because the stadium obviously was nice. You had the boxes around and the way the lighting's done. I hadn't seen that before in a stadium like that. So it was a nice stadium. It looked like it would be rocking if you get it full. So tell us a little bit about UNC football this year. Obviously, the big news for you guys is Bill Belichick and his girlfriend showing up to UNC. So I don't know which one.
I think we're going to get that 12 times this year.
Oh, you absolutely are. I don't know which
yeah.
is the bigger news.
The TCU guy was one of them. He was like, man, he was like completely infatuated with old girl.
He had the hots for her, bro.
Well, I mean, I'm not like that, but obviously she draws a lot of attention. And honestly, one of the things preseason that I was talking about coming into this game was talking about what kind of effect all of that drama would have on the football team and their ability, and Bill Belichick's ability, because she's on the field during practices. She's doing the book thing she had going on, all this stuff and distraction. Do you think really, I hate to lead with that, but do you think really Belichick coming in or with her and the drama that's involved, is that distracting the team at all? Obviously, you guys have 70 new players, I believe, on your roster. We have 69 this year, so we're kind of in a similar spot. But how much turmoil is that bringing to campus and the football program?
You want to leave that one to me, Alan? I see the look, so I guess I'll go ahead and go. Okay, so the national media really picked up on Jordan Hudson immediately, just because, and more power to them. I mean, they got to talk about something until we could get to actually being on the field. So the question if Hudson was legitimately an issue was something that was brought up early. As soon as Bill got here, that was a question mark. Thankfully in our space, we've been blessed enough to be able to have some reporters that will actually legitimately talk to us and we can have conversations with off the record. And I asked him, straight up, this is a guy that's able to get into the buildings that we're not able to, that clearly seemingly you got into, that we didn't have a conversation. How in the world you got in and we didn't? So, they were able to get into those buildings, see that during the, around the team for press conferences and light practice work. They didn't get to see a ton this year, but that conversation died very quickly with her. Now there has been, video. Oh, she was on the field. She was on the field for the spring event. We got rid of the spring game, which I love the spring game, but they did a spring event. It was really just like a very quick scrimmage, few plays, nothing crazy. It was really much to it. She was on the field for that, but a lot of people were on the field for that. As a matter of fact, I didn't get to go, unfortunately, but there was a ton of fans could actually come down onto the field, on the sidelines, which I thought was actually a really cool thing. And I wish I would have been able to go to that. But then the video comes out. I think it was last week after the Charlotte game. She was holding the door open for TCU. She was on the field really quickly, briefly for pregame, and then she was up in the box having a good time. And then last week they saw a video of her holding the door open for the team as they were, I think, coming. I don't know if they were coming back into the locker room or coming out of the locker room. I can't remember what it was. But as far as her being a distraction to the team, no, that is something that people pick up. They try to run with. The team don't really care. She's not in day-to-day operations inside of Keenan. That is something confirmed from our sources on the inside that they get to see this stuff. She's not there. So it's not been an issue. It's been something that kind of the national media is kind of having some fun with, and screw it, why not? You get age difference like that. Bill, do your thing, brother. As long as you start with football games, and so far back-to-back games. Hey, so there we go. There is that. But issue.
And kind of bringing it back to football and Bill Belichick and his effect, right? So obviously from Bill Belichick, you've seen the memes, the hoodie, the Darth Vader kind of look and all of that stuff. And, we had George O'Leary back in the day. He came from the NFL and came to UCF, and Trey actually played for him at his very last season coaching. And he was always known as like gruff, no nonsense. He would joke with the media and stuff and be nice to people. But, when it came to the football field, he was a very old school coach. And Bill Belichick obviously is known for that as well. In this era of NIL and what these kids are, I mean, they're a lot softer. They have a lot more power in the dynamic. How has Bill Belichick worked into like the college system and recruiting? Is it a net positive? Like, what do you guys think of Bill Belichick, coming to North Carolina? And let me do this real quick because Josh Lazar is back. So truly last but not least, but always last, Josh Lazar.
Hey everyone. And yeah, don't break up the flow for me, but now we have a 6 box.
I wanted to bring you in, right? Maybe you can wrap after the guys are done, but like for right now,
we didn't win a game.
We won the bye though. Don't you have a bye week wrap? Come on. We won the bye.
We went bye.
All right. So guys, back to you, Nathan and Alan, just kind of talking about Bill Belichick, his influence, how's he like integrated himself? How did it go with recruiting and NIL? Like, how's that whole dynamic working? Obviously, he's a big name, big with the boosters. You saw at the football game, you had Michael Jordan there and a bunch of other people, right, that were famous people. So he's bringing people back to UNC. But how has he been with the players, and what kind of feedback are you guys getting out of the locker room of what it's like to play for him?
Well, Bill they hired him in December. So by the time he hit the ground, that the first recruiting cycle had ended.
Yeah.
And that's when the majority of your higher end talent goes. I'm not saying we didn't get high end talent, because obviously we got Thaddeus Dixon, Kamari House, Andrew Simpson, and those are probably our 3 biggest recruiting names. So he was behind. We did bring, we brought in a ton of guys. The talent wise, where it stacks up against the first recruiting cycle, is probably a little less. So far, the 26 season and the 27 season recruiting classes, they're stacking up nicely. North Carolina's flipped a lot of guys. They flipped one from Tennessee, the leading tight end. His brothers came in this year with left Tennessee and came to North Carolina. His younger brother has been committed to Tennessee and flipped his commitment from Tennessee to North Carolina. So he's gotten traction in the 26 class, probably just for namesake. It's still kind of. The cows are still out of the pasture right now as far as, is this football team going to be any good this year? And, he's gotten some big in-state recruits so far in the 27 season, but he's recruiting all over the country. And I don't think he's having problems. And people said, Belichick ain't going to go to nobody's houses. Well, he's been to recruits' houses. Michael Lombardi, his general manager, he's going to handle, he brought him along. They're handling most of the NIL and, the money aspect. So that way Bill can just focus solely on coaching the team. He's got assistants and other coaches that can deal with the money aspect, the agents, and all whatever all comes in that NIL bubble. So he don't have to worry about the money and the finances. He can just focus on the recruiting, the talent scouting, and coaching.
So speaking of coaching, you've got 70 new players like we talked about, right? UCF's in a similar situation, 69 new players this year. We've been kind of getting our feet under us offensively. We've been playing a little bit of round robin with the quarterback situation, but it looks like we've settled on Taven, who was an Indiana transfer. For you guys, why don't you go through and let us know? I know offensively, it seems like you've got two quarterbacks. One's more of a like a pure passer type quarterback, and one is more of a run first type quarterback. So who do you expect to see on the field this weekend? And yeah, I know it's a big question. I've been kind of following along because one's got one leg basically, but it's a good passer, and the other one's will run on you. So tell us a little bit about who you expect and what you expect out of the offense, because that seems to be UNC's had a little challenge getting the offense started this year.
So Gio Lopez is the one that you said is run first. So Gio Lopez is a quarterback that came in the last transfer portal window after the spring. He came in late from South Alabama, and obviously when you're coming in, the team's brand new to begin with. Before then, we had a couple of other quarterbacks that hit the portal. One of them being a guy in the name of Ryan Brown. You may know that name if you watch anything of Purdue football, because he's the Purdue quarterback. He came from Purdue to North Carolina in the fall transfer portal window, left in the spring after going through spring practice with us and everything. So he left, but Gio comes in. Gio, when he came in, the potential for him to be a really good quarterback is there. You go look at his tape from last year at South Alabama. This guy not only could run for sure, but the guy showed multiple times that he could throw the ball. I think he threw for, if I remember the numbers off the top of my head, he threw for 2,700 yards last year, and just a few interceptions. Had a top 30 QBR in the country, and was a really good player. So the issues that we're having offensively, I believe there's a little bit of a mixture of a lot of different things that's going on. And it's a conversation that we're having more and more, because Freddie Kitchens is our offensive coordinator. Now, Freddie Kitchens has been with us over the last 2 years as a tight ends coach under Mac Brown. Did a great job in that tight end room. Bryson Nesbitt, John Copenhaver, two great tight ends that are currently playing in the NFL as we speak right now. As a matter of, and so he comes over. He's the first hire for Bill. He's the first hire, brings him in as offensive coordinator. Now, I think I can speak for just about the majority of the North Carolina community when they said that we were very baffled by that decision. And you go look at Freddie Kitchens' track record, you can kind of understand where that comes from. So as he was hired as OC, we didn't really understand why, but hey, let's just trust Bill on this. Let's just see what happens here. So as the season starts out, you guys see the TCU game. It's ugly. It's ugly as I'll get out. The offense is just
48-14. Yeah, completion percentage was 40% in that game. So 4 for 10 only through 10 attempts, which is what really jumps out at me. Is you had 10 attempts the first game, 25 the second game, 18 the third game. Completion percentage went 40, 68, 55. So that Charlotte game, you guys were able to complete some passes. Most of them seem to be short yardage when I look at the longs, and when I look at the average, 6.9, 6.2, 6.6. That's going to be short yardage type plays with higher completion percentages. And then obviously the QBR went up, or the rating went up. But that was something that jumped out. And then the Richmond game and the TCU game, the other thing that jumped out to me from a quarterback perspective is that there were 2 sacks on each one of those games. And against Richmond, you wouldn't expect that, right? So I think as you talk about the quarterbacks, how are they matching up with the linemen, and how's your O-line put together? Are they pretty much new too? Because our O-line's we only had one guy come back for our O-line. So is that kind of your situation as well?
Yeah, there was 2 guys that are back on our offensive line, and that's a guy by 3 guys technically. Trey Green, Aiden Banfield, who was a true freshman last year and started every game, I think, outside of maybe 1 or 2 because he had an injury issue early in the season, And then Austin Blasky, our center, who's been hurt the entire year so far. He's supposed to be back, not for you guys, but our next game, will be 2 weeks after you guys, which will be Clemson at home. That's when he's supposedly supposed to be back. He broke his foot in the middle of fall camp, and we've really missed him. So you've had some young guys and some transfers, one from Holy Cross and Christo Kelly. He's been starting there, and another one in Chad Lindbergh, who was originally a Georgia commit, stayed there for a few years, never saw the field, went to Rice, had a decent season, and has now come to North Carolina. And this entire offensive line is trying to figure out who in the world that they are. We got a true freshman starting at left tackle in Aiden Buchanan, who's done a fairly good job. Here's some times. If he's up against some real senior guys, then he's going to have some issues being true freshman. Guy just came out the high school football field. He rolls into Kenan Stadium. Hey, by the way, you're starting on Saturday. Have at it, Captain. So you got that. But Max Johnson has not been a factor at all this year. They've put him on the field for a few plays in the back half of that TCU game after Gio got hurt. He got hurt, lower back hip, I believe it was, injury in that game. But Max Johnson hasn't seen the field since. He is sitting back there as a senior guy, and I'll let Alan go into that a little bit more on this because it's been a conversation that we've had through our Sunday Tar Heel and everything else. But Gio, the team wants Gio to be the guy because, and I'll let Alan go into this a little bit further, there could be a higher potential with him, right? But the offensive struggles overall, I believe, is a combination of play calling because Freddie Kitchens wants to run the ball. And I'm talking about run the ball so much that on 3rd and 13, hey, by the way, we're going in power and we're running on an inside zone. After we've done it 2 straight times to begin with.
Not even a screen or anything like that.
That's another thing he loves running screens, but he doesn't disguise them. There's no disguising whatsoever. It's like, hey, you on the other side. Yeah, you. We're going to be throwing over here. Meet us there in about 5 seconds. That's how bad it's been. Alan, you go ahead with quarterback position.
Trey, and I'll say this real quick, Alan, before you start. Trey, as a defender, former defender, and Trey obviously as well. You start doing that makes life a whole heck of a lot easier for the opposing defense. And on top of that, if your offensive line has that kind of challenge, because you mentioned offensive line, our D line is actually one of our strengths for the season. Very seasoned. We got 5 stars on the defensive ends. We've got 2 really well, and we've got 2 really, really good. One's a 4-star, former 4-star player, interior D lineman, and we've got a rotation that they're about 2 deep. So that's actually expected to be a strength for us this year.
NFL guys
as well. They're NFL guys. So if your offensive line's struggling, that's gonna be rough.
Woohoo.
You sound excited.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good game, guys. Holy smokes. I'll play devil's advocate. The TCU game play calling from Freddie Kitchens and slightly from Charlotte, it wasn't good. Now, you talk to some of the beat writers, and they have asked Bill Belichick, are you guys still evaluating players? Could y'all still be evaluating players? Because during the TCU game, it was just like line shifts in hockey, man. It was just one right after the other. And then, Charlotte, it was the same way. Our running back 1 was 5th on the depth chart. Didn't see snaps in TCU, got a handful of snaps against Charlotte and gets to start against Richmond and just breaks off a 50-yarder or a 48-yarder, ends the game with a touchdown and 140 some odd yards.
148 on 14
carries.
There you
go. So he's pretty much taken the running back 1
true
spot,
freshman.
just for his ability to do it, I reckon. But anyway, that's not talking about the quarterback, so I digress. When I see, and I am not an X and O, I'm not an X and O's connoisseur. I see what I see. When I see Gio drop back in the pocket, and he's known as this run first guy, one, you see some of our, especially because I was able to watch the Richmond game twice. And watching it the second time, you saw some of our receivers just running wide open, and he never sees him. In especially in the TCU game, he would throw it to Jordan Shipp and Jordan Shipp only. He stared him down one time, and the safety, their top safety, Bud Clark, just absolutely read his eyes and just took it to the house.
Does he have an arm? Can he air it out? Does he have an arm?
No. Our first drives were awesome. Our first drive against TCU, I'm sure everybody saw it because it was the only football game on. Right. But they hit the deep pass to Jordan, Charlotte. They hit the 50-some odd yarder to Chris Culliver for a touchdown. He overthrew Isaiah Johnson, who was wide open in the Richmond game. That was a long pass. So he's got the arm. He can really. I don't take nothing. He can really spin it. I'm not saying that he can't. He can really spin it. It's just there's something between the ears where he's not going through his progressions. It's like he gets on one guy, maybe he gets to the second, and then he has a decision to make whether do I run, do I throw it, do I run, do I throw it? And so far, it really hasn't been the right decision. I was reading one of his stats was his average snap to pass time is 3.8. Max Johnson's is 2.3, and they compared it to our rival CJ Bailey, who plays for NC State. His is 1.8.
So what you're saying is UCF fans should hope Gio Lopez is behind center this coming weekend because if he takes that long, and all jokes aside, if he takes that long against this defensive line and these linebackers, he's going to have a long afternoon.
Yeah, and personally, that's a problem, and I think it's because of his indecision. He doesn't know whether he wants to run or whether he needs to throw it, and then it looks like he's scrambling to throw, and then he realizes, well, darn, I'm on one side of the field, and now my options are limited, so I really don't have nowhere to go. And by the time he decides to run, the defenders have already closed in to where he might have been able to pick up 8-9 yards. Now he's only picking up 2 or 3.
Right.
And so I think I speak for the fan base. I think a lot of the fan base wants Max Johnson to get a shot because when he came in for TCU, now everybody says, oh, it was against the 2s and the 3s. I don't know TCU's depth chart. I don't know if it was the 2s and the 3s, but he moved the ball. He read progression. Like you could physically see him when you go back and watch. He would start on one side and he would go across. I don't see a lot of that from from Gio. I don't see a lot of that progression read from Gio when I see him play football, and I'm just not sure why.
Well, I think part of that too is coming from South Alabama. The level of competition when you're talking about defensive schemes, and you're also talking about the speed of the athletes that are on the field is completely different. So that's a big part of that. He was a 3-star quarterback coming out of high school. His high school wasn't very visible. So when you step up in competition, it's less likely that you're going to be able to out-athlete people if you're a 3-star quarterback at a place like South Alabama, because he got recruited there, started there, and then transferred over to UNC. So I think part of that is just he might have experience, but he doesn't have experience either A, running that offense, and B, not being able to just physically out-athlete the opposing defenses. And that may be part of it. I mean, he's 5'11" and a half, so just under 6 foot tall. So he's not very imposing, but he's fast, right? So that's the key there. And for us, when we start talking about that, if that's going to be a strength for him, we've got to be able to maintain the rush lanes, especially with the ends when it comes to that. Last year, that was a little bit of a problem. We bit a little too often. This year, it seems to have evened out. We're doing a lot better job of maintaining the edges. So if he does come in for UCF, we're going to be trying to funnel him and keep him back in the pocket and then funnel him to our interior lineman if we can get him there, or go for a sack.
Yeah, I mean, that's if I was a betting man, they're going to roll Gio out first. I do not see any, unless he is hurt in practice this week. somehow, he pulls a hamstring doing something crazy or something. I don't know. Gio Lopez is going to be a quarterback one. It's just how it's going to be.
So if
and
you guys go ahead, finish your thoughts.
It's like Nathan was saying, the floor with Max Johnson is significantly higher than the floor with Gio. But the coaching staff keeps saying the ceiling with Gio is much higher than the ceiling with Max. Max is lucky to be playing football. Honestly, Max is lucky to have a leg after, they were thinking about he was going to have his leg amputated after he shattered his femur. So the fact that he was even able to take snaps against TCU is mind blowing to me. But he's not slow. Max, I didn't think Max was slow. I don't think I could outrun him, and I don't. Drake May, I believe, is faster than Gio Lopez.
Yeah.
So Gio Lopez didn't surprise me with his speed when it comes to scrambling from the pocket.
So let me ask you this: if we were to pivot, right? That's the swivot is our word around here, but we'll say pivot for this one. If we were to pivot and talk about the strengths, if you guys gave me 3 defensive strengths and 3 offensive strengths for this North Carolina team, please help us out with those so we can understand those a little bit better.
The first one is number 1. Thad Dixon. That man is going to shut down one side of the field, and nobody has tested him this year. I think he's literally been targeted in all 3 games. I believe he's been targeted less than 10 times this year.
No.
None of them
6.
None of them have been completions. Every one of them have been either swats, and there was 1 drop. Thaddeus Dixon's not a guy that plays around, and people know that now. Strengths also is our backers. Kamari House is a linebacker, but he's also doubled as an edge rusher. Mekhi Bear is another one. So those backers and our edges are getting better, and they're getting insane. Andrew Simpson is a hit stick, son. It shocks me at how hard that dude hits. There's times where he's reminded me of daggum Ray Lewis. Just the way he will just knock the piss out of somebody. I love it to death.
Dude, the way he hit that one dude in the Richmond game, I felt sorry for him.
I was in the stands and I heard the crack, and I was like,
That means he was playing real defense. That's how it's supposed to sound.
Oh man, like that, and that's something.
That's the transfer from Boise.
But Carolina has done something really, really good there. So I would definitely say Thaddeus Dixon as number 1. That guy in his the secondary is getting better. They had a really rough showing. Marcus Allen, more especially on the left-hand side, and they've been kind of I say left-hand side, but they've been really switching him and Marcus to play the outside. So Marcus didn't have a good first game for sure. Second game he got a little bit better. This last week he played a whole lot better. But he has a pass interference problem. He's just going to get him one at every game.
Is he just not turning his head, or is that the problem? Is he's just not turning his head when he's battling for the ball?
There's times where that is the case. Those are coming, fewer and far between. But for some reason,
TCU was bullcrap.
That first one. I think the first one there kind of got in his head. Then they threw over him because he didn't know how physical he could be with the receiver, and it got over his head. And I think that's what just completely just screwed him out of that game, which shouldn't happen. You're supposed to be, next play up. I know Trey can speak to that a whole heck of a lot better than I can, but
and the refs should be telling them before the game how they're going to call it too. That's the other thing that's supposed to happen, right?
Right.
More often than not, they'll tell them how close they're going to call it.
Right. And in that game, the reffing was, both teams were trying to figure out what the refs were going to call and what they weren't going to call. There were times where North Carolina get away with something and TCU wouldn't get away with the same thing, and vice versa. And there was a ton of that in that game. So that's not just towards us. That was the entire game for both teams. But So Marcus has been playing a little bit better. I feel like the safeties are playing a little bit better. But the last one, I really am starting to. I feel like our defensive line is playing a lot more fundamentally sound. We've come into this season understanding this is going to be a project, right? And what you want to see is from game to game, this team becoming a more gelled unit that's playing together, playing fundamentally sound. And when they played that first game against TCU, they were none of that on any stretch. In each game, defensively, for sure, we have saw that team. I just saw a stat that North Carolina ranks 4th in the country right now currently in red zone defense. They've had 11 drives and only one score.
Sounds about right.
That's not good for us, though, because that's one of the things that we've had that's been a bugaboo for the past 2 years, and we're trying to get better at, right? We do really, really good between, the 30s or between the 20s, but once you get to the red zone, that's a place that we haven't quite figured out yet. However, offensively, and I'm going to ask this of you, one of our key differentiators for our offense, and has been with Scott Frost, even his previous stop here, has been explosive plays. Now, both teams, I expect you guys would have less that you've held back, but it was week 1 against TCU, so there's not that much going to show beyond the scripted plays because they're going to be, adding stuff as you go, and you're not going to show much against Charlotte and why can't I think of their Richmond, right? Yeah. So for us, though, a big part of our offense is popping those big plays and explosive plays. How's your team done against explosive plays defensively?
Outside of, again, it's quality of competition.
Right.
UNC's defense hasn't really given up explosive plays. They gave up the 175-yarder on the first play out of halftime against TCU. Then I think in the second half again against TCU, the running back broke one for like 25, 30 something. Yeah. Outside of that, there's been no explosive plays. But again, it's quality competition. Our athletes aren't getting out-athleted, so to speak. So North Carolina's defense, I agree with Nathan, it looks better. And, they're playing with better pad level, especially along the defensive line. The safeties are not getting the ball thrown over their head, and we're gang tackling. So it's really just outside the TCU game, and that's the only measuring stick against a Power 4 team Power 4 teams that we have. And I think TCU is a better team than what people thought coming into the season. So really UCF is just going to be another measuring stick. Like, where is North Carolina in this growth process?
And conversely, UNC will be for us as well, right? Because the two teams we played were Jack State, who was the Conference USA champion last year, but had a lot of turnover, right? And then we played a team an FCS team that honestly, even the coach said we shouldn't have played the game. They lost 3 quarterbacks during the game because our defense was just eating. So, their top 3 quarterbacks went out. So we don't have much of a measuring stick there, but I will say this, Taven Jackson, who's kind of solidified himself as quarterback right now, he is getting better. My concern with Taven Jackson is that he may take a beat too long to make a decision to throw the ball. That being said, he's got a cannon of an arm. I mean, he can throw 60 yards accurately, no problem, and with just a flick of the wrist, right? So it'll be interesting to see, because to me, I think Taven's performance, especially throwing the ball, and we like to spread the ball around. We don't just, we're hitting tight ends now. We're hitting the short game, we're intermediate game, and we've got guys that are running more complex routes over the top. They're going to, offensively, UCF is going to test North Carolina's secondary early and often to get the run game going.
Well, that to me sounds like North Carolina has a better chance of winning because they like with Thaddeus Dixon. Now I don't know what they'll do against UCF. I don't know how many top grade wide receivers you have against Richmond. Thaddeus traveled with their best receiver. That's the first time I've seen Thad follow one guy.
Well, he also did the same thing with Eric McAllister for TCU.
And that was the returner, and he got targeted once right before halftime. Thaddeus knocked it out of the air and looked at McAllister and wiggled his finger, and he never seen the ball again the rest of the game. Like Hoover never even looked at him.
Yeah, and that was his top target. All the other wide receivers are brand new. So
he's a ball.
Safety. We have a safety in Will Hardy. You know, he's a veteran guy. He's been there. He typically doesn't let stuff get over his head. Gavin Gibson, he's the guy. He's the other safety that we have. He a lot of times he'll come down in the run fits because he just likes to light people up. I've seen him make some big time hits on receivers who come across the middle. If our weakest cornerback is Marcus Allen, I'm pretty confident it'll just be it might be a battle of wills. And, Bill Belichick's always famous for making you play left-handed. So,
yeah,
Bill might roll out. And if y'all want to throw the ball over the field, he might roll out and nickel and make you run it on us all night and see if we can win that way. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that's
I like our chances if you want to throw it at us.
That's the interesting thing for us, right? We've traditionally had a strong running game. We've got two actually more than two really good backs. Jaden Nixon, Big 12 player of the week last week. I think he averaged something like 30 yards per carry. It's
that's a good stat.
Yeah. Well, he didn't get that. It's a real good stat. He touched the ball 9 times last game and scored on 3 of them. So I don't know what to tell you there, but he's a pretty good football player. He was a 4-star, went to OSU. He was behind their number 1 back who wasn't going anywhere, and transferred and then ended up with us. And then so we've got a good running backs. However, our pass pro is much better from an offensive line standpoint than our running game from a lineman's perspective, right? So it'll be interesting to see how we mix it up. We do like to run. We will run through or try to run through the A gap to set up other plays. So they'll try to lull them to sleep and play like a run our guy 2 times through the A gap, show you the same play, and then pop one over the top out of that look. So for you guys, are you running 4-3 or 3-4? And how much blitzing have you seen? I imagine you're not going to see anything too complex against your last 2 teams, but what would you expect? Obviously, defense is Bill's wheelhouse. What would you expect them to run? A 4-3, a lot of blitzing? That's kind of what I'm expecting.
TCU, they ran a 3-3-5.
Wow, that's interesting.
Richmond, I think.
Yeah. Richmond, they switched it up. They were in 4-3.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure
they've done it differently each game.
Yeah, he's a personnel kind of guy. Depending on what you see that week, he's gonna match it. Like, he's not gonna be stubborn to, like, I'm running this is what I'm doing. He's never been that. It's been what does the opponent do? Like you said, he's gonna make you play left-handed. What does the opponent do best? All right, we're putting the personnel, we're running the defense to take away what they do best. Beat us with your curveball. That's his MO forever. And like you said, that's what he's been trying to do. The first 3 games, like this Tar Heels team that I've watched, I'm like, he is trying to build the college version of the Patriots. Like that, that's exactly what he's trying to do. From you guys hinted like Freddie Kitchens. That's like he wants to build North Carolina.
Trey, hold on.
I'm sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, but he put this comment from Tim in Florida, and it just tripped me out. She is not an issue for the team. I promise. She is not on the sidelines during the game. She's she's up. If she's there, she's in a box. She probably won't even be at the game. I would be surprised if she was at the game.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope she is, and you know what? I hope she's a distraction. I'm just going to put that out there. Maybe you put her on our sideline this week, and maybe she's a distraction for our guys. That might be something Bill Belichick does.
that could be a technique.
I wouldn't put it past him. All right, so we talked a lot about defense. Obviously, that's a strength for y'all. Offensive strengths, if you just wanted to name 3 things, what are 3 offensive strengths? Obviously, the running game, you guys have been leaning on that quite a bit. What are 3 offensive strengths if you just had to rattle them off, 1, 2, and 3?
One being Jordan Shipp. That's going to be our wide receiver. That probably would give the cornerbacks the most trouble if Gio can see him. And the newly lamented running back 1, in my opinion, Damon June. His name's spelled demon, but his name is Damon. He runs like a demon. He is that hit the hole as fast. As soon as he took that first snap against Charlotte and he hit the hole, made one cut, and he was up the field in 9 yards. Now he is not the track speed guy. He's not that 10, 8, and 100 meters. That first run, he busted off for like 50, and he got drugged down at like the 15 yard line, the 15 or 20 yard line, 5 yard line.
Mm-hmm.
He got chased down from behind because he doesn't have the long speed. And then the second 40-yarder, he broke loose. He made one cut, and there was just nobody but green grass in front of him. So that would be my number 2. And I guess you would have to say Chris Culliver. I mean, he's the one that's been getting over the top the most. I can't say the offensive line because it's a question mark due to all the injuries we've had. I can't say quarterback because I'd like to see the second stringer get a shot. And the tight ends that haven't caught but like 4 balls, and that was 5 balls, and 4 of them were caught Saturday.
Yeah, so Mike says here, did UNC tell the ACC to turn off the weather control machine this time? So the joke is because of the hurricanes and Georgia Tech and UNC and all that fun stuff. So, it's one of those things that. All right. Now, Defog is actually he knows his stuff. Like he's great, and I love. He needs to comment more, especially when it comes to the X's and O's kind of stuff when we get into that. But I'm expecting this game to. I just want to see what Bill cooks up, right? Because I think with Bill Belichick joining the staff. And it's really interesting to me because I didn't realize that he had 3 different defensive schemes, which makes it real hard for us to game plan against offensively. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Let me ask you this. Is this season disappointing for you so far? Because it feels like from the national viewpoint, right? So not outside of the UNC bubble, that this has kind of been disappointing for y'all. Is that the case or no?
Have you been listening to Paul Finebaum?
No, I don't actually.
We hate that guy.
No. We hate that guy. Seriously.
Yeah. It's okay. We do too. Paul Finebaum is like, yeah.
I made a video on how bad Paul Finebaum is.
Well, he's
national
terrible.
Media has.
We sent him cockroaches. Let's just put it that way. In a box,
good.
in the mail.
That's very good.
Yeah. So
that is very good. That is awesome, actually.
I might send him a glitter bomb.
You should do that. You should also send him something from one of those naughty sites or something like that because he can eat one. So go ahead. That's how strongly we feel about Paul Finebaum around here.
Oh man, I tell you. Anywho, the national media. Of course, all the hype was Bill Belichick's coming to college. Holy cow, here we go. The fan base is excited. there was definitely at times, and even I'm guilty of it for sure, is, you kind of get into it when you see Bill come to your team, you get excited, right? It's like, holy cow, like this dude.
Do you? Does he not scare you? Isn't there like an aura around him where he walks by and just like the air turns cold or something happens there?
No. We have been in his presence as of late, and he is actually a very nice human being. So he smiled at me when I asked him a question.
He's not lying.
That is true, actually. But anywho,
that's part of our oxymoronic stat of the week. Bill Belichick smiles.
That's it. Yeah. He gave me one of these, and that was it. And he was done. But anywho, so the national media ran with everything, thinking like, holy cow, here it comes. It's Monday night. It's Labor Day. TCU's coming to town. Keenan Stadium, the first time Chapel Bill is going to be in action live and in person. Here we go. Here's the thing. How is he going to do? Can he get North Carolina to the – we all heard the storylines, right? They have to understand where this team was, the turnover that happened, the UNC culture that has to be broken, right? There's 70 brand new players. North Carolina is very well known for they can give you all the hype in the world. Think about North Carolina outside of last year, which last year quarterback situation, bad, third string quarterback, a whole deal. North Carolina's in the top 10, 15 every year. But then they step on a landmine and their whole season blows up. How does that consistently keep happening? How do we keep getting close to that mountaintop and just plummeting like a sack of rocks? How do we get rid of that?
I'll have the answer for you for that. It's culture. It's the same thing that happened under Gus Malzahn here, right? That's something we talk about all the time, right? So Scott Frost, Coach Hype, those guys before, they built up that culture off of the back of Coach George O'Leary. That was a bridge year, and Trey speaks to this all the time. No, I'm serious. You have Coach O'Leary, who's a hard-nosed football guy. You have Scott Frost, who comes on as more a player's coach kind of guy, right? And he lets them loose. So you get all the skills that come from a hard-nosed coach, right? Okay, I want to be specific about hand placement. I want to make sure that, your footwork is perfect and all of that stuff. And then you come and you have Scott Frost come in who makes it fun, right? But it's all about the heartbeat of the team and playing for each other and all that stuff. And our question was, with Scott Frost coming in, what was he going to be able to do to revive that in the NIL era? So, you guys are just now seeing that comment. I left it up there until I was waiting for you.
No. I like Default. This first, I was going to say, man, I'm liking Default. And then the second comment came up.
And he started talking about LeBron being the GOAT. And I
like LeBron, the basketball player. Alan knows this, right? Cavaliers fan, Golden State fan. There we go. But
yeah, listen,
my brother.
Yeah, Jordan. Listen, we're not going to bring that. That's a side quest for us. For basketball season, we'll bring that back up, Default. But I will tell you this right now, Jordan, and maybe I'm showing my age at 44, but Jordan is number one, always will be. And Kobe's a close second.
I'm 25. I'll back you up. Let's go.
Yeah, Kobe's a close second. It doesn't matter whether it's UNC or not. It's just that man was phenomenal. So,
my brother.
I will ask you this. Mike says, how do you feel the UNC fan base will travel to the game? Because it's Orlando and
there's a big fan base down here already. That's the thing. There's a the Duke and UNC alumni groups in the Central Florida area are pretty big, and I know competitors and all that, but like that whole area just. It's big down here, especially in the legal area where I'm a part of. Tons down here.
I honestly,
there's a big contingent in Atlanta. They have the Atlanta Rams Club, whatever. I guess it just depends on how well you guys sell it out. I'm sure there'll be, the usual family and friends.
It'll be sold out. Our season tickets have been sold out for 3-4 years, longer. in a row. So it'll be a question from availability perspective. Unfortunately, our stadium, how much does Keenan seat? Isn't it
55?
Yeah, we only seat 44 and change. We used to seat 46. So there'll be a section there. I don't think many people will be selling their tickets for this game, although they'll make a pretty penny if they do. But I don't think many people will be selling their tickets because it's Bill Belichick coming to the game. And this has kind of been hyped up for us, even though we're excited about the Big 12 season, obviously, again, right? But
for you guys, this game is like huge.
I wouldn't say the game is huge. I would say everybody wants to see the novelty.
It's like last year when Colorado came. Like
Coach
it was a
Prime.
conference game, but it was more of the.
How'd y'all do?
We sucked last season. There's a reason. There's a reason Gus isn't here. Let me put it to you this way: Gus was putting us into Miami territory, and what I mean by that is we won the offseason, but lost during the football games because he didn't know how to manage rosters. He knew how to get rosters. He didn't know how to manage them very well. So that's the biggest problem there. Huh?
The prior Miami. This new version of Miami.
No. It's okay. Don't worry. Miami still found a way. They'll still find a way.
Listen, all I got to say is y'all better not let them win the ACC.
Yes,
Do not let them win the ACC. That's all I got to say.
They always implode.
I know. 22 straight years, and they beat the Cows last week, so they completed their mission. Now we're back to Miami hate. But, at the end of the day, just don't let them win. That's the last thing we need is Miami fans being even more boisterous than they are coming into the season. They're going to win the championship every year based on their recruiting class, and then they fall on their face. And the savior for the ACC with respect to Miami is Mario Cristobal, because his decision making is questionable at best. When it comes to that, I am interested in this too. Tim says, "Hey, what's UNC saying about Scott Frost specifically and UCF coming into this game?"
UNC hasn't had their media availability for this upcoming game. I think he was asked about it after the Charlotte game. Yeah. And Belichick, being the steward of the game and the historian, what he did say about Scott Frost was, great coach, had that program at the top during his tenure there, and nothing but he's not going to give nobody.
Well, I'm going to ask you this: Scott Frost played for Bill Belichick, and when he was in the NFL. What's that?
Was that the Jets?
Was it the Jets or Pats? I think it was the Jets. Yeah, I think it was the Jets. Scott Frost played on defense, actually, believe it or not.
He was safety, yeah.
Oh, good. If it's Jets, then Bill will have a little extra hate coming in. That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah. He never liked the Jets or the Dolphins.
Oh, and Mike, we don't know. We really don't know. Are we sure Jordan's even coming with? I saw that stupid comment.
Are we sure Jordan's even coming with Disney in the same city? And actually, both his sons played for UCF basketball, by the way. Other than a questionable drug habit that one of them has a shoe store right in downtown Disney. So allegedly, let me just put that out there so we don't get sued. I hope he comes. Jordan's been on campus before. He's been in the basketball arena before. So hopefully he does come for this game.
I think
they're talking about
it's Jordan. I think Jordan for Miss Hudson here.
I think they're talking about Hudson.
Yeah.
Now I will say this. Mike says this, and we were going to mention this in. I didn't want to bring this stat up for you guys while you were here, but I guess I'll go ahead and do that now. If UCF wins, Scott Frost will be on a 16-game winning streak as the head coach of UCF. If UNC wins this game, this will be their first ever win over a Big 12 team. Currently, you're on a 7-game losing streak, all coming double digits. So basically, you guys have lost every game against the Big 12 by double digits. Obviously, we hope to keep that going. No offense, but and thank God you guys aren't coming on the space game, because one, we'd be confused as far as jerseys were concerned, but two, we have never lost a space game, and we annihilate everybody on space game for some reason. So, from your guys' perspective, though, I think what the fans were asking was more like, what do the fans think of UCF and perceive UCF as a team coming into this game from UNC's perspective?
I'll let you take that one, Nathan. I don't really know how to answer that one. I mean, I don't think these teams play enough to have an opinion, like to have a familiarity with each other.
Well, it wouldn't matter. They're both new teams with new head coaches on either side, as far as that's concerned.
I think the question is, like, what's the perception?
The perception
like,
that
you walk into this
Carolina,
game and think it's like a cakewalk. Like, oh, it's just UCF. Like, is it like, does the average fan even realize we're in the Big 12, or are they still kind of confusing us with USF? We're the little brother to Florida University of Miami.
Hey, we don't say that. West, the University of West, the directionally challenged
but
school.
They're not going to know that that's what they're called. So, like,
I know, but wait, don't say it, man. Just don't say it. It's illegal. Throw your flag, Josh. I know you have flags over there. Throw it out.
Other room.
Oh man.
So Carolina, when it's always been talked about North Carolina facing up against UCF and everything, Carolina has they recognize that UCF has been very successful, over its tenure, right? Over, for a while now, in the last couple of decades, they've been really successful. 2017 being the height of that, right? And Carolina has always understood that there's never been a UCF USF like thing there, but no, Jesus Christ.
Hey man, you unlocked the demon, bro. I mean, you told him to start commenting more, and now
go outside and have a cigarette, brother. Just have a cigarette, man.
Oh man, this is great.
He's just coming with
off.
Heat.
Sorry, I had to put it up there. That was just too funny not to.
The hard-hitting journalism over here.
Right. But no, they knew that this game, for this season, the way it's been going, okay, like you had TCU, dumpster fire, but you've played a group of 5, you've played an FCS, and the thing is like, okay, now let's see what we do against a Power 4.
Yeah.
That is the conversation. Like, hey, we've been stacking a couple of games. We're looking better each game. How does that level up now to your first Power 4 since you got obliterated and looked horrible? So they look at this game as a very good test for them moving forward, because another test to see where they are, because guess what? After you guys, we got a bye week, but then we got Clemson coming to town. And
but Clemson's
going to be pissed when they get here.
Clemson sucks, though. I've been saying it all season long, and they proved it again last week. They won by the skin of their teeth on the other 2 games they played. Honestly, I'd be surprised. What's that?
Doesn't mean it's not a tough game for them, though. For UNC,
I'm not saying it's. I'm not saying it's.
Catch Clemson when they're pissed, and then they take it out on us, and we get mad about it. So I don't care. When Clemson was bad a couple of years ago, and they only won 9 games after the bowl, they were pissed off, and they took it out on us, and it was a bad day. So
well, it's not like the convicts versus Catholics kind of thing, but I'm just thinking the evil force with Bill Belichick on the one side, and then you got Dabo Sweeney on the other side. I don't know, man. He's praying about it. I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's like good versus evil in that game. But Clemson, I'm telling you right now, Clemson to me is a very beatable team. If I want to see what you guys do against us. Obviously, we're kind of using you as a measuring stick as well, right? We got K-State after that. K-State has not been good. I was singing their praises and expecting Kleeman and Avery Johnson to do much better than they have this season. I was expecting Avery Johnson to be special, right? But he's not. He's not playing well at all. So UNC for us is a measuring stick as well, because we finally got Taven Jackson in the as QB1. And kind of like you guys, Taven Jackson, he came in late, right? And for him to he didn't even start. He wasn't our starter game 1. And our starter got hurt. But Taven Jackson can spin the ball. He just needs reps. So it'll be interesting to see if he's had enough reps to play against Power 4 competition. He did well at Indiana as in a backup role when he had to come in. He did well at his previous stop in a backup role when he came in. But now he's got the team, and it'll be interesting to see how well he does against a Power 4 defense, especially one run by Bill Belichick. That's the one thing that I think people are undervaluing with the whole Belichick thing, because I didn't expect it to go well for UNC, to be honest. I've been talking about that since preseason. Under Belichick, it would take at least a season to kind of figure it out. But it'll be interesting to me to see how he does against y'all's defense. That's going to be the game to me. If he has turnover, then it's going to be tough because you guys can run you guys can run the ball fairly well. You've shown that, right? So the question is going to be, can you get turnovers? Are we going to make mistakes? If we play mistake-free football, I think it's going to be a long day for UNC, unfortunately, especially if we get ahead early. We like to do that. So we're going to try to pounce early. If we can get ahead early, I don't know if you guys have the horses on offense to be able to catch up. So that's going to be the big thing for you. Who do you expect to win this game? I'm going to ask you that straight up. We're not hedging points. We're not doing anything else. Who do you expect to win this game? And I know that you're North Carolina guys, so I would expect you to say North Carolina. But realistically, if neither one of us were fans of the teams that we are, how would you evaluate this game, and who would you expect to win?
It's going to be a good tough battle competition, but I'm going to say Carolina in a tough one.
All right, Alan too.
And when we did our preseason prediction, I was looking at the Big 12 rankings. Of course, we had TCU coming in first, and it showed UCF was predicted in the bottom 25%. I'm not sure how many teams, but it was closer to the bottom than to the top. I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm not going to pretend. I have not.
Our expectations were low coming into the season because we were bringing Scott Frost in and we were blowing up our roster, right? We knew we were going to do that because Scott Frost plays a different brand of football. And so we were expecting that. So our expectations, our high was a bowl season this season. That was what our expectations were. Yeah. I do think that, and part of that is because our quarterback situation has been in flux for years. I mean, we haven't had a quarterback start and finish a season since Mackenzie Milton did it in 2017. So that's been our biggest bugaboo. Despite going undefeated the next season, we went in 2018, we went undefeated again. And numerous 10-win seasons since. Our biggest challenge has been the quarterback situation. And I honestly think Taven Jackson is going to have his shot. So according to DFOC, and he knows his stuff. So, all jokes aside, he comes with the heat as far as the jokes are concerned. But UCF was projected to finish 44th in the Big 12 rankings come season. I don't think that was right. I don't think you wrote that. I just talked.
You really did expand, didn't you?
So you're good to have that same mindset. No, but 44th, I think he meant overall. And in the Big 12 rankings, they had us in the 15th and 16th. But in the Big 12, it's interesting because it's a cycle. You get the top 8 will be and who's predicted to be the top 8 again this season will be the bottom 8 and vice versa in the Big 12. It's just the way it rolls. And he meant 44th out of 60. Yeah. All right. I guess he's not being serious tonight. So we were not picked 44th out of 16, but
it's more like 9 or 10 out of 16 or maybe even 11.
No, it was lower than that. It was like 13 out of 13 or 14 out of 16.
Yeah, it was pretty low. And during the season prediction that we did, picking who we thought would win the games, I picked North Carolina to win this game, and then UCF reinforced it with the 10-17 win over Jacksonville. I watched a little bit of that game and I was like, yeah, these guys really don't look that good. And to be fair, I saw none of the UCF, NC, A&T, whatever, that 68 to whatever, whatever that was. I didn't see any of that.
With a late last second touchdown against the 3s and 4s. We were in the 4 deep at that point.
So now that I've seen the offensive struggles North Carolina has, if Bill Belichick can get that defense to drag UCF down into the mud with us, I like North Carolina's chances. But like you said, if UCF can get out early and another thing, if UCF gets out early 14, 20 points, 20-3, 20-6, and Gio struggling, I'd be interested to see if they pull Gio and let Max try to bring us back. That's just neither here nor there.
You would have to.
Yeah, at that point, because he's the better passer.
Yeah, because then the script would be in. You would understand that this is what this is at that point. And that's the conversation we were having on Sunday Tar Heel. Is like, if Gio is struggling extremely bad, and it's not because of play calling, it's because of just just times for him, then you've got to make the switch. It's just got to happen.
Yeah, I think to Mike's point here, I think we had the wrong quarterback. We've been talking about that from the very beginning. We had the wrong quarterback playing quarterback 1, to be frank. So it's once we got when we got Taven Jackson in there, who'd not been prepped, who'd not been running with the ones, we scored. And then we did it again against NC A&T. The other thing that was interesting with Jack State, and we talked about it on here, was Jack State had a lot of 3. Most they had, just on their defense alone, I think they had 4 or 5 4-stars starting. So this wasn't a traditional Conference USA Jack State type team, and they usually have a winning football tradition. That being said, our problem was the offense. And once we got Taven Jackson in there and got him comfortable, so to me, this is the biggest test of whether Taven Jackson can be successful versus P4 opponents or not, right? So that's the biggest piece of it for me.
If the game's in the 20s, I'll say UNC. If it gets to 30, it's going to be UCF. I just don't have enough confidence in UNC in what they've showed so far to score 30, even though they put up 41 against Richmond, but that's not the same. Yeah.
Richmond's definitely not, just like NCNT isn't UNC either. Okay, so let me go ahead and we got 2 more quick questions for you. What do you expect, unless the audience has something else? What do you like Jello shots and whatever? What do you expect for the rest of the season for UNC? Are you guys like what's your range as far as wins are concerned? Outside of FSU and Miami, my FSU's on a tear this year. Miami's on a tear. Everybody else kind of looks mediocre to me. Georgia Tech. Let me take that back. Georgia Tech's playing really, really well. Former UCF head coach or offensive line coach Brent Key has the reins there and seems to have them on a roll. Who else? What do you expect for the rest of the season for UNC?
For me, it's one game at a time. Seriously.
So is this like
and honestly, a lot's going to be learned Saturday.
Okay. Do you guys see this as year 0 for Belichick, or do you think this is going to help you evaluate the success of his tenure?
That's the best way I can say this. For the young guys that are playing, I do believe that this year is going to be the start to see how the culture is starting to shift, because 70 brand new players. There's 70 brand new players that aren't used to North Carolina culture, aren't used to that UNC step on a landmine, can do great the first 6 games, and then the back half of the season just fall off a cliff. They're not indoctrinated with that. There's only a couple of players that are back, from the Mac Brown era. So how does this team do throughout the season? How do they play? How do they continue to get better? Do they continue to get better? And that all starts really Saturday. We've done what we needed to do the last 2 weeks. Now let's take it to P4 because it's the easiest competition is done. It's out the way. It's only up from here.
All right. So Tim says, what are the concerns about the current coaching staff knowing that Chapel Bill brought in all his buddies?
Yeah, I mean, Bill, and he brought his son, defense coordinator, who was at Washington. Washington had a pretty good defense.
It's the strength of their team last year.
It's not like his son is just a half-wit and just got tagged on because, hey, come on, we're just gonna you're just gonna come with me because you can do this sorta, but you're my son and whatever. UNC really went all in on football. You think about UNC, you're thinking about a basketball program. They're paying Bill $10 million-ish. I'm not sure the exact salary for Steve.
They're paying him Saban money. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the DC is paying. I'm not sold on Freddie Kitchens being the offensive coordinator. That's still to be determined. I'm not whatever Belichick saw in him, he saw. Now, going forward, I guess we'll just see. And
that's the only
Mike Lombardi
I have issues for. That's it.
Mike Lombardi, he's been with Bill for longer than anybody. So what better guy to bring with you to the program to handle all your NIL deals, your recruiting, and all of that than the guy that's been doing it on your NFL rosters for eons. He knows he knows the money game and all that inside and out. So I don't think anybody's concerned about the coaching staff per se. We say buddies. People got to have something to say.
Is his son head coach in waiting?
No. There is.
I'm just
no
saying.
Head coach. Everybody's like, oh, it's in the contract. It's in the contract. North Carolina published the contract. All the beat writers have the contract. They went over it line by line. Nowhere is Steve Belichick mentioned in once I retire, he gets the program. Now, I will preface that by saying this. If Steve comes in here and can form a top 20, top 25 defense year in and year out, UNC is successful. Bill Belichick decides to retire for good, or everybody says he's what 17 wins, 16 wins from Don Shula's record in the NFL.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm not. When his 3 or 4 years is up, if he wants to go to the NFL, and somebody from the NFL is like, "Hey, come over here. We're established. Come get your wins. You want to go, and we're in a good spot." And Steve has done a fantastic job with the defense. By all means, come in, take over the team. I have no problem with that. And if you want to go chase Don Shula, go get it, big boy. I mean, to me, you're the greatest coach of all time. Anyway, I mean, I never liked him. I never liked him when he was coaching the Patriots. I never liked Tom Brady when he was on the Patriots, but I loved Tom Brady when he went to the Bucs. And I've learned to appreciate Bill Belichick because somebody that can win that many Super Bowls with a head, and you can say it's Brady, you can say it's whatever. He still won 6 in the daggone games.
It's a system. He was known for his system and his players. Julian Edelman and all those guys. That was the perfect example of that, right? So he's a CEO. So I think long term, Bill Belichick may be able to use his resources properly, but right now, you guys are in the same situation that we are. All right, so I'm going to ask you one other thing about this. Is there any type of specific stadium food that anybody needs to get when they're in Keenan? BYU has or Utah has ski shots. BYU has cougar tails. Is there anything specific at Keenan that people? I walked the concourse, which was covered and it was nice, and I saw all those areas. But what is there any specific food they should get when they're at Keenan?
Okay, 2 things, and I got told this. One of them's brand new this year.
Okay.
But I got told this I usher at the games this year. And so I get to talk to all the nice old heads that come through there and that place very well. So I've heard one thing. Do you guys like BLTs?
Yes.
Merritt's evidently is like the spot. I was told about this because I saw
They
people
put at least 12 slices of bacon on there. 'Cause
Yes.
If you don't put 12 slices
Yes.
of bacon, it's not worth it.
Yes, it is a massive amount of bacon on a BLT. And I saw people eating them. And I've been going to games for 4 or 5 years now. And when I saw people, I looked at my usher partner because there's 2 in a tunnel. I said, dude, man, everybody's having one of these Merit sandwiches. He says, wait a minute. You ain't ever had one, have you? I said, no, I haven't. He says, dude. And sure enough, as fans were coming by, they heard this and they stopped and had a lecture with me for like 10 minutes as they were telling me about these Merit sandwiches. So Merit's is the number 1. Number 2 is a brand new thing that they started this year. And it's on the dessert side of things, but it is a donut ice cream sandwich. It's 2 donuts with ice cream in the middle and there's sprinkles over the top. That is the deal. Like that thing is legit and it is big and it looks really cool.
Awesome. Tim, I'm just going to say this. A BLT without the bacon, lettuce, and tomato is toast. I hate to tell you that.
There's mayo there. There's mayo. That's a mayo sandwich.
It's a mayo sandwich. Maybe add some ketchup on there to spice it up, but that's not a BLT.
That's okay. I eat my BLTs with bacon and cheese. And
There
that's
you go.
I don't mind
There you
cheese.
go.
Yeah.
Just bacon.
He's not a vegetable person.
So D Fox says, I know I was giving y'all S, but appreciate y'all coming by. Good luck this Saturday when Bill has media availability. Wow. Let him know the
You know what, Default? You know what? I don't know what you guys do over here, but if you guys don't have a watch party, be sure and tune in over at the Hill Brothers. We're going to be doing a watch party.
He'll be doing a watch party. I'll be at the beach.
You guys he'll be at the beach just chilling out, having a good time. I'll be doing the watch party, having a good time. You guys are more than welcome to come out if you guys aren't doing one.
Well, if you guys are doing it virtually, I might stop by. But
absolutely.
That being said, thanks guys for joining the Hill Brothers. They're a part of the Big 12 network, and like I said, this year we're trying to bring as many of our Big 12 brethren and our College Huddle brethren on and Big 12 brethren on to be able to talk about games as they come along. UNC, we've had a checkered past with you guys as far as being able to play football games, so I'm just glad we're going to be able to play this one because it looks like Hurricanes. Yeah, hurricane season's finally going to let us play this one. As I say that, I'm knocking on wood. What's that?
Are y'all coming to us next year?
No, 2027.
No, 2027. Yeah, it's a little
Okay.
a little further out. But I will be making that trip, so hopefully I can tailgate with you guys. Just so you know, UCF fans know how to tailgate. So
we're learning.
I did see a $42 ticket in the bounce house for Saturday. You know, it's if I wasn't going to the beach. You know, I mean, I guess I could still come to the beach. I don't know.
Well, you could absolutely come down here and hang out. There's plenty of beaches in Florida. I live literally 2 miles away from one, and I got a quarter mile behind me. So we've got plenty of beaches. You're more than welcome to come. Thank you for doing this. I'm looking forward to doing it with you.
No, this has been a blast. I just hope we can have as much fun on our show as we had on you guys'.
Well, I don't know if y'all do it live, but I'd be happy to try to field any Jello questions from your fans if they have any.
Oh yeah, the problem is our head coach is jacked in crap. That's a little different
for a guy that's never subbed. I tell you, bro.
Man, I'll tell you, you have found a diamond with this guy.
Oh, he's great, dude.
No, he's a great dude. Like I've known Default for years.
Diamond.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
man.
hey, listen, this is the thing about UCF.
I would like to see him and Ron. I want to see him and Ron to get together. That would be awesome.
Him and Ron would be hilarious.
They'll meet behind Taco Bell. I don't know, but let me put it to you this way: UCF fans are honestly a good group of people. We love to tailgate. We love to have fun. So I'm excited to come up to UNC. It'll be my second trip to UNC. So I hope to meet with y'all up there and maybe tailgate. But if y'all come down here, there's plenty. One thing we know how to do in the South, and you know this, and especially in Florida, is we know how to tailgate. So you're more than welcome. And we appreciate y'all coming on and being good sports. I hope to return the favor here later this week. So all of you that are viewing or are going to watch this later, you can watch me get roasted by the UNC fans later on this week if you want to do that. So thank you so much for coming on. Y'all are welcome to hang out. We are going to give a little bit of hour, because we try to keep it under 2 hours. We're going to give a little bit of our feedback on the game. So if y'all want to listen to that, you're happy to join or stay on and contribute. If not, really appreciate you coming on here and hanging out with us for a little bit. And by the way, how can people find you?
Yeah.
Oh, they can go to any of our platforms. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also on TikTok as well. All of them are the same, Heel Brothers. That is us. We go during the football season. We started our scouting report last year, which is what you're going to be on with us, where we have a visitor from another team, whether podcast, College Huddle. We've had reporters on. Alan was able to get like the director of football on for Richmond last week, which was
director of football communications, Christian.
Boom, there you go.
Travis.
Is he also the AD at Richmond? I'm just asking.
No, he's not.
No, but you would think.
He's like their sideline reporter too. No, I'm just kidding. Christian, I apologize if you say that. That's
is his name Jordan as well? I'm just going to ask.
No.
Jordon.
No, it's Christian. He was a solid guy. I will give him that. Last minute,
invited us up to Richmond too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, said he could get us in the stadium and show us around.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just Hill Brothers. We're on all those different platforms. On MySpace. Jesus Christ, Falk. I hope to see you on Saturday, brother.
That's awesome.
Man.
For those of you that aren't viewing this and are listening on the podcast, Falk says Heel Brothers aren't on MySpace ? Figured since that was the last time UNC was good, maybe y'all still used it.
I don't think MySpace was invented last time UNC was good, to be honest.
No, it wasn't. That was the 90s, brother.
UNC was good in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I will say this. For those of you that are listening on the pod, you've got to watch this back, because the comments back and forth was pretty awesome. So, but yeah, thank you guys. And like I said, if you guys want to hang out, if not, you're more than welcome to dip out, but I'll see you guys a little later this week.
Absolutely, man. I gotta go knock out some videos. So I appreciate the time. Appreciate all the comments.
Yeah, I got a 1-year-old that you may or may not have seen that was standing right here wanting something to drink.
You should listen. If you got a 1-year-old, you got to put it on camera. You can't do that and not put them on camera.
Hold on, pause. Hold on.
He was.
He's using our vernacular. Pause.
No, it's not that pause.
Yeah, it's not that pause. You're right. It's not that pause.
I will say, Alan, this sure.
Anytime someone says something that's a double entendre or could be taken that way, in juvenile minds, we always say pause. So I'm just going to put it out that way.
Yeah. Or B, but in the private chat, there's been a couple, and you might not have known why. I will say that UNC mic cover in white, like that is really sweet.
It's actually just a sticker. It's a white Shure MV7 with he got a big UNC sticker. He was just like, I don't know where to put this, so stick, and that was it.
Nice. So since mine is black, I might have to do the same thing. So
he got us some pop filters that were supposed to be UNC color, but they came in. They were a little bit more on that Dukish blue.
That's not good.
With it. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, man, there he is. There's a bub.
Tell him,
hey. That's awesome. All right, so
get me off camera.
Yeah. All right, so you just got to ask. All right, what color is that Nook that he's rocking there? Is that UNC blue? Because if not, you're failing as a father. I'm just going to put that out.
It's like
don't you worry.
It's like
Uncle's got it. Uncle's got it covered.
Like a transparent blue.
Yeah, that's the
Well,
that's the
that's what-
traditional one. You got to get a UNC one. That's your next patent
Yeah, that's
idea.
what color the
I'm putting
cup
it out.
was. They said I was failing as a father.
No, it's not Duke Blue.
It's not Duke Blue.
That's all that
Oh
matters.
no.
Everyone's
You
moving
want to
on.
say hey? Come here.
I'm forced to wear a more Dukish blue because I'm a Rams fan, and they just had to change their colors from navy.
I'm telling you, you guys got to get on our schedule as a space game because honestly, that would be awesome. Us with our Carolina almost blue. And what we actually did with that, believe it or not, that's the actual color. They took a laser and went out to the Cape because we're a space grant university and took the actual color of the ocean and made it into our uniforms, and it's pretty close to the UNC blue.
Okay, default. I can respect that.
Diehard Rams fan. My guy. Dude, I got Isaac Bruce, Adam Archuleta, and I want a Marshall Faulk jersey.
Okay,
I've got a canvas of Isaac Bruce right above my head.
So there's a bromance budding right here between
Me and default.
between Nathan and Default. So we're gonna leave it out there because this is a PG rated show. So whatever y'all do in the private DMs, y'all go right ahead. Listen, again, thank you so much for joining the show this week. I look forward to joining y'all.
That's been a blast.
Hey, yeah, and we had a blast. And if there's anything we can do for you when you're in town, let us know. We'll be happy to support you. And I look forward to coming up to Keenan for a game instead of just running around on the field. All right, y'all. You guys have a good one. Go Knights. And I don't know what y'all say. What do you guys say? Do you go Heels?
And as always,
go Heels.
All right. And with that, we're going to kick them off the stage.
Like that.
All right. That was great. Next week, we're going to have K-State on. Thank you guys so much for joining us. All right. Let's talk a little bit about this UNC game. We're 131 in. That went a lot longer than I expected. And because I don't like to say that was an awesome interview. UNC 2-1 coming off a 41-6 win over Richmond. They beat Charlotte 20-3 the week before, and TCU trounced them. As far as keys to the game this week, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and then I want to get your guys' perspective. For keys to the game, after listening to them, I think really it's going to be Taven Jackson and how he performs against the P4 defense. That's number one. Can he get rid of the ball fast enough for him to not be picked off? That's what I'm worried. I'm worried about turnovers more than anything else. Two, if we can do that, that will open up the running game because I am concerned, and I hope our offensive line proves me wrong. They've been doing great. I mean, excellent on pass pro, but we cannot become one-dimensional. We've got Miles Montgomery in the background, in the backfield, and look who we have behind him. There's no reason that we shouldn't be able to use those weapons, so I expect us to open the top up really quick to get that. And then lastly, for me, the key to the game is, to score points early. If we can get up 7 to 14 points and make them play from behind, that changes the strategy quite a bit defensively. That was crazy to me that they shared the defensive schemes that they played, because that'll be really, really interesting to see what they play this week. Anything else on the keys to the game for you guys, or anything from an overview? I think, Alan had a question here on who the starting QB is. Scott Frost answered that in his press conference. It's going to be Taven Jackson. The rest of the competition is not available. Our first starting QB still has back problems. He's not available this week and probably going to be out for 2 weeks. Quite frankly, guys, I don't want him back. If Taven Jackson can show out on the against another P4 team, which he's done at Indiana and he's done at previous stops as a backup, if he can play well against this defense, I think that we may have found our QB1 for the rest of the season. And I hope he does, because I don't know about you guys, but that last game, the way that he flicks the football and the arm that he has, if he can be consistent, I think that that can lead to more wins than what we were expecting. So what do you guys think real quick?
Well, I'm going to take that defensive idea over there. And my guess is because of the lack of experience from the wide receivers, my guess is they might try to stack a box, take out Montgomery and Nixon or anyone else and make him throw until he can't. And maybe they'll do it. Maybe they won't. But I agree with you. I like I like the concept of the QB and Taven Jackson specifically figuring this out. Like that's what this game is. I think it's him figuring this out, and hopefully like a couple of offensive line not being a swinging door, especially if they're talking about like one of their if that back end you cannot throw to one of those sides. If that's the case, it's going to be just very interesting. So we might get more of those tight end throws that we've been seeing, I guess, in the first game against Jack State. I think it was 7 different throws to tight ends, or at least catches by them. So I feel like that's really going to be a big piece of it. I also feel like the defense is going to be interesting too. And you were talking about it, Roger, during the interview, how our defensive line should be the threat that they can be, especially if Gio is going to be back there for 3-4 seconds. That was the biggest thing that I was seeing in the Jack State game. And again, I know that was a weird game, but if you were counting in your head, they were getting that ball out in 2 seconds almost every single time.
Well, that's the short game, right? So we were talking about, depending on who they start, if it's Gio, that's what we expect to see is they're going to stretch to the boundary, right? They're going to run to the sideline and they're going to try to do that quick pass. So that means they're going to try to negate the D line. If we start getting home, that's how they're going to try to negate the D line, and that's his strength. So that's going to be interesting to see how that chess match plays out.
Correct.
And by the way, Alan Minton, he said UNC interior linemen have improved greatly since TCU. I don't know if you're a UNC fan or a UCF fan, but welcome, because this is, I think, the first time we've seen you comment. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, keep going now. Wow, Josh, sorry.
No, I truly think it's this. I wanted to not be a close game. I mean, the spread's like 6.5 or something like that. Like 49 on the or something around there on the over under. I think they're going to be dead on. I think this is like a 7-point game, a 10-point game. Like either way, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be very interesting to see how that chess match works out.
We're not at the score predictions yet, Josh.
I'm just generally saying it's this. I'm hoping is going to be just a good football game where we can show.
Oh, it's our Allen. It's UNC Allen. All right. Okay. Sorry, Allen. Thanks. I totally messed that up. Sorry, Allen.
Look, Allen, your picture there looks a little bit different than who we just saw because of the cabin on.
Yeah, exactly. Forgive me.
Yeah,
sorry.
Don't blame us. But yeah, I just think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be a really good game. And I feel like it's going to be a chess match until the fourth quarter. And it might be one of those whoever has the ball last wins type of games.
All right, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting kind of similar to Josh. I'm expecting a good game. I mean, definitely the 6.5 spread feels right for this. Obviously, having the home field advantage definitely helps. I think this is definitely going to be a really, really pumped up crowd. This, not the hopefully not the post game vibes, but this feels very similar. Like I think Roger, you might have mentioned that to the UNC game. I'm sorry, to the Colorado game last year, where it's like that big time coaches coming in. There's a lot of excitement. We're still undefeated. So there's a lot of hype in this game. So it's going to be a fun game. In terms of, quarterback situation, obviously I didn't realize that Frost had said that. Last thing I had saw that was the depth chart that was released. I know they don't really update it too much, but it still had Fancher on there. So it's good to see that he officially announced Taven, and obviously I think it's the right move. Yeah, I mean, he didn't call
Taven out in the interview today. What he basically said was Cam Fancher's not available, and it's basically Taven. So it was more one of those. Yeah, it was more one of those versus Taven's our guy kind of thing. I think he's trying
that, which makes more sense. So so I mean, I think obviously it's the right move. I mean, like for all the reasons you said, I mean, he's looked a lot more natural. The flick of the wrist, he's got, can just bomb the ball. I mean, he looked, I thought, a little bit better in the second half of week 1 than he did in game 2, where there wasn't a single passing touchdown thrown somehow with 68 points. But I mean, as of right now, he should be our guy. And I think he gives us the best chance to win going up against UNC.
Trey.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be, is Taven Jackson ready to see, I think this will be his first real test as far as what he's going to see defensively. I mean, Bill's going to mix it up. The games that you watch with UNC, whether they're getting beat by TCU or, smoking Richmond, they run a lot of different stuff, which that's just what Bill does. That's his background. So he's going to give him a lot of different looks. And like you guys kind of hit on the head, he's going to make you be left-handed. Taven is going to have to go to his curveball. Coach Frost is going to have to go to his secondary pitch. And that's going to be the game of adjustments. This is where we're entering now. It's, this is power 4 football. You have to adjust, and it has to be quick. It can't be, we figured it out in the second half what they were doing in the first half. It needs to be, all right, I see what they're doing this drive. We need to adjust. Oh, I see what they're doing next drive. We need to adjust. So I think it's going to be that cat and mouse game. And I think for us offensively, it's like I said, it's quarterback and can our O-line establish the run. Defensively, I think they're going to be able to play. I think we have the talent defensively, and I think, again, we're going to have to win up front and kind of make them one-dimensional. I mean, you guys hit it on the head. Gio, when he gets the ball out quick, that's what he wants to do. So we're going to have to challenge him up front and let the big boys eat. That's what I think the game plan is. I think it's simple. I think this is what we're going to have to deal with, is just win where we should win.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the defensive end spot is going to be key this week. If Gio's able to roll out of the pocket, that's going to be problematic for us. I think they're going to go sideline to sideline offensively, and they're going to try to use Gio's feet. If they can't get that, then they'll use the short game. So that'll be a defensive adjustment on how we, whether we're throwing the house at them or whether we're coming back in zone coverage to try to defeat that short game. So it'll be interesting. 6.4 yards on average per snap for the quarterback for Gio this season. So I think the short game is going to be where it's at. So it'll be quick, but I do think our defense is up to the challenge. What I'm questioning is whether that Taven Jackson can get the ball out fast enough. So we had some other questions, but obviously we enjoyed our time with the Heel brothers. So Alan Minton, who is our other Alan. So I'll just say Alan too. It's always going to be in the lines. That's where you win or lose games. So, it'll be interesting. I don't have a lot of faith in us being able to run the ball, but I do think we can get some things done through the air. Okay. So score predictions for this week. Ben Stout just sent us his score prediction. No, he didn't. He sent it earlier in the day. I'm just giving him crap because he copied no, just kidding. 24-17 UCF. Alan, what is your score prediction for this week?
Oh, I like that one. I have, I wrote down in let me bring up, so I'm consistent here with my Instagram page. Been trying to follow that all year, so people don't call me out if I have a different one. But so I have it.
Well, I don't care if they do that. I don't care if they call you out because that means they're watching the show.
Yeah.
So but I want to keep it consistent with what I have on my page. So I'm going to go with 24-20 UCF.
Wow.
That was like me. I went 23-20. Like that was exactly what I was thinking, something similar like that.
It feels like it's a low scoring game. I don't know why it does. It feels real low scoring.
Okay. Josh?
48-10. No, kidding.
Okay.
I can't do it 3 weeks in a row. I will say that I actually think the over is going to hit. I think it's going to be low scoring, but not like that. My gut tells me 31-21, but I'm going to go to 31-24. I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring than that, but we'll see. I do think the good guys win, but it's definitely it's either a 10 or a 7-point win.
All right. Well, since Tim is participating with us, he says 28-24 UCF. I'm going to go a little bit different. this year I've been a little less conservative than what everybody else has been. So I'm going to go 32-21 UCF.
Wow.
With this one. So I'm going to take the highest. We don't know what actually, you know what? I'm going to do one better. I'm going to say 38-21 UCF because I think that UCF, if we can get out early, we can do a lot of damage. So, all right, Tim, I've got you 28-24. Big 12 Brad, he's a little late. He says, do y'all think Taven will use his feet a little bit more this week? He used his feet last week, so it depends on what the defense gives him. So right now, again, last week I won the week. Last week, Mark's not here to give his, so I guess he's out. He's lost. He owes us the steak. But let's go ahead and get into some other UCF news. We're at 1:45, so I think we're going to go over 2 hours. But as I mentioned earlier, Sean Clark unfortunately suffered a medical emergency. What we've been hearing is that it was a stroke, unfortunately. I have some friends of mine who've gone through those, and depending on how quickly he got to medical attention, that can take a little bit longer to recover from. UCF is going to hire another offensive line resource, someone who's more established to help out the team. But in the meantime, Alex Farah leads the offensive line unit right now. I just want to take a moment and stop. Life is short, and we talk about football, but when it comes to something like this, you never want to see this. From all accounts, Sean Clark is admired by App State fans, by everybody else that he's ever been in touch with. So I just want to say to him and his family, whether you see this or not, we wish you well. Prayers up. There is something out there right now to help him with medical expenses, as well. I don't have it up, but I'll put it in the comments for the video once it goes live, once I go out and find it. But you never want to see this. The man's 50 years old. He's a head football coach, and, but he's more than just a head football coach. Everybody said he's a good human being. So prayers up, wishing him well. Alan says, Alan too, UNC Alan, said prayers up. And I agree. I mean, college football is college football, but, when something like that happens, I just pray for him and his family. It looks like his road to recovery is going to be a little bit longer. I don't know what else to say other than I wish nothing but good for him. I know that Scott Frost said in his interview that he was there this week with him in the hospital room. You never want to see that for anyone. So, God bless. I'm going to say it. Whether you're religious or not, God bless. I said my prayers for him. I hope you all do too, and hope nothing but good things for him and his family.
Yeah,
agreed. Hit it on the head.
Agreed.
All right. Next, we can talk about the Big 12 scores real quick this week. Big 12 was interesting as always. So this week, Houston beat Colorado 36-20. Colorado did not look good on offense. Houston looked good on defense as I expected. Didn't do anything special on offense, but did enough. Arizona beat Kansas State 23-17. Kansas State is now 1-3. Neither team looked great offensively. Iowa State beat Arkansas State 24-16. I don't know what happened, but they toughed it out as usual. Utah beat Wyoming 31-6. Texas Tech beat Oregon State 45-14. The Pac-2 or whatever they are now had a rough week this week. Baylor took care of business against Samford 42-7. West Virginia beat Pitt in the backyard brawl. So I never had a dog in that fight, but I had a dog in that fight this week, and I'm glad that they beat them. Cincinnati beat Northwestern State. Not Northwestern, Northwestern State 70-0. TCU beat Abilene Christian 42-21, and Arizona State beat Texas State 34-15. So, where does that leave UCF? UCF is obviously 2-0, so that leaves us tied for 5th place in the conference. We'll see how that works out for the rest of the conference or the rest of the year. But we're in 5th right now, so we're not 15th. So I'll take it. Okay. That being said, Big 12 has 3 ranked teams right now. ESPN ranks us 36th out of the 39 undefeated teams. That's largely because we played the bye. KZ revealed this week that he had a first-round grade for the NFL draft before his injury. So I do want to say that makes it even more. I don't know if I would say hurtful would be the best way to say that for KZ. We were all rooting for him. We weren't sure if he was going to come back the next year. We expected him to go to the NFL, but he had a first-round grade, and I really would have loved to see KZ in the NFL. It makes that much harder in what he went through, but more power to him. Tim says, if we win Saturday, we will get some votes. If we win big, UCF may crack the top 25. I agree. Unlike the Cows, who got their butts handed to them by Miami this week. Also announced today, FS1 will be we will be on FS1 versus K-State at noon Eastern. So get your tailgating in early. I'm going to shout out a little bit of listener love as we do each and every week, because we appreciate each and every one of you, including the folks TFOC this week. I mean, the show would not have been as fun without you. But Sellout Artist this week had a comment on there who says, who knew Julian Assange knew so much about football? He was talking about me and my hair. So I'm just going to let it loose here for you, Sellout Artist. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I didn't respond to that because I was, I didn't know how to respond to that, but that was pretty hilarious. Econ Advisor, frequent contributor to the show. The hospitalization of the O-line coach puts even more pressure for the new O-line to perform. They are bringing in someone to help you because he can't be much of a factor in the UNC game. Practice has been going well. Coach Frost says that this will be the first big test and no let-ups for the remainder of the season. Taven may need 350 yards passing to stay in the game unless the run game surprises. Also scary is UNC's big offensive line and run option QB. The defense has been vulnerable to big running backs. So Econ Advisor, we kind of talked about that throughout. However, I will say this. I do think that our defensive line is up to the task. I don't think Taven will need 350 yards, because if he gets anywhere close to 200 yards, I think that'll open up the run game for us. And he is a viable third running back as well. And Defog, no, that makes it more fun. He says I appreciate y'all putting up with my BS. Tim in Florida says, Defog, your BS is not BS. It's good BS. And that is not no BS. All right. So that being said, 4 new subs this week. So we've eclipsed 230 and are on our way to 1,000. As a reminder, Alan will cut his hair after we hit 1,000 subs. Twitter, there was also 3 new subs, DFOC23_23, which we obviously have been talking about quite a bit. Benny Boy 44, UCF Man 94. Welcome to the show when it comes to X. Keep them coming. Tell your friends. Thank you so much. As we've shown, you're part of the show. You drive the show. We appreciate you. And, let's keep it going with Alan's Oxymoronic stat of the week. Alan, can we get this under 2 hours? It's 1:53:51.
Yeah, it's a quick one. Supposed to do it 2 weeks ago, but then lost the connection. And then last week I wasn't on. So But because of the bye week, it's still relevant. So against Jacksonville State, UCF had 314 passing yards. The last time that UCF had 300 passing yards in a game before the Jack State game was September 16th of 2023 against Villanova. So they didn't have a single 300-yard passing game all of last season. And the last time it happened against a Power 5 school, because that was Villanova, the last time against a Power 5 was September 19th of 2020 in the COVID season opener against Georgia Tech with Dylan Gabriel. So it's been 5 years since we've thrown 300 passing yards against a Power 5.
That's crazy. And Dylan Gabriel scored his first touchdown in Garbage Town in the NFL. And Garbage Town, I mean that because it's Cleveland.
That works too.
I didn't mean garbage time. I said that on purpose because it's Cleveland, and I'm a Cincinnati fan. So I wanted to make sure I pointed that out. All right, Josh, let's go ahead and swim it to your sometimes funny fact of the week. Take it away. We've got less than 5 minutes.
I'll do my best. According to Winspedia, who has more weeks in the AP poll in the lifetime of their football program, UNC or UCF?
Ooh.
I'll say
That's
UCF.
got to be close.
I'm going to say UCF as well for the football program. Not basketball.
I mean, UNC's been, obviously not basketball. UNC's been around a lot longer, but they were never good at football, but they had that run under Mac Brown. I'm going to say UNC marginally, though.
Okay, so amazingly enough, this will give it away. UNC has only had 7 weeks in the AP poll in the entire existence of their football program.
No way, really?
7 weeks, according to Winspedia. UCF has had 54.
I thought they were like under Mac Brown. I felt like they were ranked almost the whole time that he was there. Like,
according to Winspedia, no, and they're like 102nd.
Alan number 2 needs to fact check that.
Yes, please. I mean, I'd be glad. This is I get according to Winspedia, and they're pretty good with their.
No, they're pretty good. No, Winspedia is good for sure.
All right, we are 156.31. Josh. Let's swim it to your quick update on other UCF sports that Alan and Andrew does not watch, and Trey might, but that's okay.
UCF women's soccer is now 6-1-0 in the season, beating UNF 2-0. The Knights open up Big 12 play at home on Thursday, September 18th versus West Virginia. Men's soccer are 2-3-1 after beating Jacksonville Dolphins 2-0, with Hewlett getting his first brace. The Knights start their Sun Belt Conference play with a road trip to number 18 Kentucky at 7:30 p.m. Sometime, probably a Thursday. I just didn't put it on there. UCF volleyball is 7-2, beating Arkansas State 3-0, FAU 3-1, and losing to Brown 1-3. Big 12 play opens up at home versus number 21 Baylor tomorrow, Tuesday, September 16th at 6 p.m. if you're watching live. And there's 2 games away from home in Tuscaloosa versus Memphis on September 19th at 5 p.m. and Alabama on Saturday, September 20th at 6 p.m. UCF cross country will be in Huntsville, Alabama this Friday. No, that's incorrect because that was last Friday. We'll scratch that. UCF men's golf will play in the Bearcat Invitational starting on Monday, September 15th. So that's today. They're playing today and they are playing tomorrow. Women's golf will be at the Schooner Invitational in Oklahoma on September 20th through 22nd. And last but certainly not least, Ball Malone, the softball coach, assigned a 2-year extension. And Martinson in rowing was promoted to associate head coach after 2 seasons. We have 2 minutes left.
All right. Less than 2. All right. I'm going to say this. This week was the first week, or actually last week was the first week that I had 4 UCF alumni collaborate on a new venture. So that was the first time that has ever happened in my professional career. We are moving forward. So shout out to Adam, shout out to Tess, shout out to Ashley, shout out to Javier, who, by the way, played for UCF soccer back at in 2006. So we met and we're collaborating on something, but I think it's a sign of the times. And you know, when you talk about big time, whether it be in business or whether it be in sports, This is proof in the pudding, so I appreciate it. Other than what we already do, thank you everyone who's contributing in the comments. Thank you everyone who contributed during the show. We appreciate you. And tell your friends, go Knights and
charge on.
Are you going to let me stay for the 40 seconds so we get over 2 minutes, or do I get to get cut off before all this happens?
Come on. I'm going to cut it out with 15
seconds. Cut it off? All right.
Just in case.
Okay. But you really shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't let me go on like this. At some point, the podcast has to end. I don't know when that will be, but